breaking story. Let's go live to Cassandra Barris in Jerusalem. Cassandra?
Behind me are the raging flames of where the Dome of the Rock, one of Islam's most sacred sites, once stood. Just moments ago, the ancient shrine was rocked by a devastating explosion.
Into its seventh day, both Israel and Palestine are still denying any involvement in last week's explosions. World markets are under severe pressure for fear fighting will spill into the west of the region. Oil is skyrocketing as the Saudis threaten to stop shipments unless Israel confesses to the explosions.
New world order.
The truth shall set you free. The truth shall set you free.
Even Satan comes as an angel of light.
National borders have been erased as the world has been divided into 10 democratic zones.
The stock market leapt to new heights with Stone Alexander's proposal to create a unified global currency. He followed his announcement by offering to donate his latest desalinization plants to struggling nations that would need help with jump-starting their economies.
America lost the war in Vietnam because of the media.
The world is on television. The world is on television. And that's where people will form their opinions. People like me will shape those opinions. I have more than 100 television and radio stations, magazines, newspapers. If you read, watch television, listen to the radio, you're going to hear what I have to say.
Rather what you've done, isn't it, David? You don't really expect anybody to believe that, do you? I wasn't even up there. There are witnesses. This is television. People believe anything they see on television.
Food and gas shortages across the nation.
It's almost biblical, sir. Wonderful invention, television. Does most of my work for me.
We gave the president our trust. We rallied behind him because we believed in his integrity. But his career has been based on lies. The Justice Department has obtained the following security camera video. It reveals that Daniel Alexander's death was no accident. Clearly, our president secured his inheritance through the abominable crime of patricide. Now, in our nation's darkest hour, his true nature is revealed. David Alexander is a man who will do anything, say anything to remain.
I was Judas, betraying Christ to be crucified. I was Hitler, leading millions to the slaughter. On this Mount of Assembly, on the utmost heights of the sacred mountain, I have become king and God!
When you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel standing in the holy place, let those in Judea flee.
For death has come up into our palaces to cut off the children from without and the young men from within.
How you have fallen from heaven, Lucifer, son of the morning. How you are cut to the ground.
The day has come when people will stare at you and say, is this the man who made the nations tremble?
You have all bowed to the man of sin. But on the house of David, the Lord...
The Lord?
Yes, the Lord will pour out his spirit of grace. They will look on the Lord whom they have pierced and mourn as one mourns for his only son.
The Lord? I alone am the Prince of Peace. If there is any other, then show us all a sign. Right here, right now.
It is a wicked and perverse generation who asks for a sign. But like Christ, your only sign will be this. Destroy these temples of his holy prophets, and the Lord will rebuild them in 3 days. And the Lord will rebuild them in 3 days.
Is this his body? Ever since Hitler's death, mystery has shrouded the last moments of his life and the final resting place of his corpse. It spawned a flood of newspaper stories that the dictator was alive. The Demon King continued to cast a spell.
All the television networks are owned by Jews. The movie studios are owned by Jews. The newspapers are owned by Jews. The magazines are owned.
Because at 9:30 this morning we were actually running an exercise for over a company of 1,000 people in London based on simultaneous bombs going off precisely at the railway stations that happened this morning. So I still have the hairs on the back of my neck standing upright.
To get this quite straight, you were running an exercise to see how you would cope with this, and it happened while you were running the exercise?
Precisely.
Supposed to believe is some kind of coincidence, there was also an anti-terrorist drill going on 7/7. And again, just like 9/11, they were talking about attacks on the same targets, the same kind of tube stations, and exactly the same time as the actual attack happened, providing some kind of cover for what must be operations orchestrated in some way by the state.
Designed the buildings to take the impact of the Boeing 707 hitting the building at any location.
The building probably could sustain multiple impacts of jet.
Congressman Sam Al drew on the line between protection of national security, obviously the government's need to obtain intelligence data, and the protection of civil liberties, particularly the sanctity of my home. You've got no right to come into my home. You've got no right come into my home.
Oh yeah, that's right, you walk away, you go home, motherfucker! You motherfucker!
The more you begin to investigate what we think we understand, where we came from, what we think we're doing, the more you begin to see we've been lied to. We've been lied to by every institution. What makes you think for 1 minute that the religious institution is the only one that's never been touched? The religious institutions of this world are at the bottom of the dirt. The religious institutions in this world are put there by the same people who gave you your government, your corrupt education, who set up your international banking cartels, because our masters don't give a damn about you or your family.